your cravings, and the symptoms you've described, your weight loss type is what's known as type I. And in case you're wondering, the I in type I stands for the hormone insulin. And the reason why is because type I people tend to have an insulin imbalance, as opposed to other weight loss types, which typically mean an imbalance in another hormone in your body. In fact, an insulin imbalance is actually consistent with what you've told me about your body and symptoms. For type I people, what it means is insulin, your body's glucose regulator, isn't working at its best. And the reason why this is such a big deal as a type I person is that when this happens, the sugar and carbs you consume as a type I person tends to get stored as fat. And this is one of the most frustrating things for type I people, and why losing weight is such a challenge for people with type I weight loss type. It's simple. If you have an imbalance that hinders insulin function, and most type I people do to some degree, it makes it virtually impossible to lose fat. As a type I person, what you need to do is flip a switch in your body to help maintain healthy insulin function, so you're better able to burn fat as energy, and as a result, maximize your diet and exercise efforts to lose weight. Now, the good news is by taking a few simple steps, you can actually flip the switch I'm talking about. And you can do it starting minutes from this very moment. In fact, I'm going to show you how in just a second here. But first, as a type I person, there's one last thing you need to know about your hormones, and that's this. What's interesting about most type I people with an insulin imbalance is that there's also a tendency for 3 other hormones to be out of balance in your body at the same time. And those are adiponectin, cortisol, and ghrelin. It's something I like to call the type I domino effect, and I'm going to explain what that means for you in just a moment. But first, let's get to the single most important question, which is this. As a type I person looking to lose weight, when it comes to your diet, exercise, and lifestyle choices, what should you do differently compared to other people with other weight loss types? Well, what I'm going to do for you right now is walk you through 3 of the 13 specific things I recommend for type I people who want to lose weight and keep it off, which you want to combine with a nutritious low-calorie diet and regular exercise to get the fastest results possible. Of course, you should always check with your doctor to get the thumbs up before starting any weight loss program. But in case you're wondering, the reason for just 3 things is because I want to focus on what's most important and what can help give type I people the biggest, fastest results. So, pay close attention to what we're about to cover here. And by the way, if you're interested in getting access to my entire list of recommendations for type I people for free, I'll explain how to do that in just a moment. But first, without further delay, let's get right to it. The first thing I recommend for type I people is to add one specific food to your diet each time you eat carbs. And that food is whey protein. Here's why. You see, as a type I person, when you add whey protein to your meal whenever you eat carbs, it can significantly reduce your body's post-meal glycemic response, which is how much your blood sugar goes up after you eat. In fact, in a recent study, consuming as little as just 10 grams of whey protein with carbohydrates was shown to actually reduce the rise in blood sugar after a meal. And the reason why this is such a big deal for type I people is that whey protein supports insulin function, so you avoid post-meal blood sugar spikes that can quickly come crashing down later and trigger hunger. And better hunger control is key to virtually any effort you make to lose weight. Does that make sense? In other words, simply adding whey protein to your diet at each meal can be an easy first step to flip the switch and help kickstart your weight loss efforts. Which brings us to the second thing I want to talk about today, and that's this: exercise. Because if you're a person with type I weight loss type, and you've either tried to exercise in the past, or if there's something that's prevented you from exercising, whether that's a physical condition or something else, I want to explain as a type I person what you want to be doing differently when compared to people with other weight loss types. The biggest mistake type I people tend to make is that they follow what almost everybody else is doing, medium to long distance, low to moderate intensity cardio, whether that's walking, jogging, or using a treadmill at the gym. Now, as a type I weight loss type, instead, what can actually make more of a difference is lifting weight. Lifting weight to lose weight. I know this sounds counterintuitive, right? I'll explain the reason why in just a moment. But first, just to be clear, I'm not talking about crazy bodybuilder weightlifting. I'm talking about basic weightlifting or resistance training that practically anybody can do. Now, as a type I person, here's why this is so important. Studies have shown that simply adding a little resistance training like weightlifting to whatever daily routine you're doing now and doing it just 2 to 3 times a week, doing that alone can actually improve your blood sugar control. Just 2 to 3 times a week. Crazy, right? Now, the key is this, and you might want to write this down. Each time you lift weights, you want to aim for 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions for full blood sugar benefits. If you're new to resistance training, you may want to start with just 1 set until you're comfortable moving up. Does that make sense? Now, here's the thing. I know for many people with type I weight loss type, because they have something that prevents them from exercising or doing it regularly, they aren't able to incorporate this type of training into their lifestyle. So, who am I? As I said, my name is Steven Siskind, and I'm a licensed physician. I received my MD from one of the top medical schools in the country, Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas. I completed my undergraduate studies at Stanford University, and I also received my degree in manufacturing engineering from UCLA. Through my work at Real Dose Nutrition, I've helped over 219,000 people in their weight loss journey, with many experiencing spectacular results. People like Michael from Bathurst, Australia, who had this to say, "You brought it all together. Once I took your advice, the weight started coming off. I began to notice more energy and wanted to run up the stairs at work. I've dropped 60 pounds and feel like I'm 20 again. As a reward, I bought myself a motorcycle." As you'll soon see, some of what I'm going to share will likely make a few big players in the health industry, especially the supplement industry, very nervous. And because these players have lots of influence with big media companies, it's very possible you may not be able to get access to this information later. So if you're interested in hearing the truth about fat loss, make sure you watch this presentation in its entirety now, while it's still up. As a doctor who has seen many overweight patients, I've been witness to their deep-seated frustration, and I've heard a disturbingly consistent set of complaints and negative self-talk. Does any of this sound familiar? I'm doing everything right and still can't lose the weight. I feel hopeless and depressed. Not only do I look old, I feel old. Go out? I don't want to go out. I don't want people to see me. I don't want to buy new clothes. What's the point? I just don't feel valuable. I'm never going to look good again. This is out of control. How big will I get? What's wrong with me? Sorry for the dramatization, but it's hard for me not to respond to the pain and suffering that they felt and you might be feeling. The kind of pain that makes too many people simply give up on their dream of being slim and feeling good again. But there's something you need to know before you throw in the towel. It's not you, it's your hormones. And they're standing like a brick wall between you and your goals. But I'm here to tell you there's a way to smash through that wall, lose the weight, and be in control of your life again. Dee from Dublin, Ohio, was ready to quit before she came across my presentation. Dee said, "Finally, a medical doctor who explained why I was not losing weight. In the past, nothing worked, and everything left me hungry and jittery. But in just 5 weeks, I lost weight without being hungry at all. I thought I was dreaming when I stepped on the scale. Real Dose has taken me from a tight 8 to a fabulous skinny 8. I am thrilled." I'm about to reveal some breakthrough tools you can use to literally melt away the fat that has been holding you down for so long, and it's not what you think. So let's get started. Here are the 4 big reasons why you're not losing weight. Fat burning barrier number 1. Your body is not producing enough adiponectin. Adiponectin is literally the hormone that tells your body to burn fat for fuel, and it's like your body's fat burning torch. Multiple studies have shown that the more of this super hormone you have circulating in your bloodstream, the more fat you burn. And research also shows that low levels of adiponectin are associated with a higher incidence of obesity. According to Dr. Leo Galland, director of the Foundation for Integrated Medicine, quote, "A lack of adequate adiponectin is emerging as a significant factor in people's inability to melt flab and stay slim," unquote. The frustrating thing about adiponectin is that the more fat you have, the lower your levels, which is why losing